Michelle left it out there and nobody took it. She said, I have gifts for y'all. So she brought 4 gifts in and nobody took that one. Okay, gifts.
Michelle
Michelle Byers.
She got this?
She got it from New Orleans. Oh, wait, hold on. Fantastic. Okay, so welcome. You are on the call with the wonderful Jac Smith. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Arthurine Johnson. I am located here in Marietta, Georgia, which is about 30 minutes outside of downtown. And so this is a Quan Keller Williams Atlanta North training. And so welcome. Jac is my friend, simply put, in a word. And Jac has a wonderful team in St. Petersburg. And so I don't know anybody that does it better on a personal level and on a team level. Jac treats me like gold. And so that transfers over to his business. And I wanted him to share with you guys, because if he treats his friends the way he treats his clients, this is one of the reasons why he has such a great team, first of all, and such a really great business. So Jac, thank you so very much for the opportunity, as you would say, for the opportunity to have you in our market center. And we really honor your time today. So thank you to everybody who is here. I recognize most of the faces. So Jac, will you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your team? Thank you very much.
Well, number one, I am where I am because of my team. I didn't get here alone, believe me when I tell you that. I could not exist without them. And they are my breath of fresh air. They are my strength. They are my backbone and my big why. I came here, I lived in New Jersey, central New Jersey, and in Manhattan. And when Sandy came in, I had a bed and breakfast at the Jersey Shore and a restaurant at the Jersey Shore. I had retired from 25 years in banking. And Sandy came in and wiped everything out. My house, my restaurant, my bed and breakfast. And it's a total blessing because I would not be here. It's actually one of my neighbors in Fort Lauderdale that suggested that I come try St. Pete because I knew that I wasn't going to be, I was not going to be at home in Fort Lauderdale. I love the place, but I was never home. I never considered home. So I came here, I didn't know a soul. I did everything anybody asked me to do. So if you want to go to the dog park, I went to the dog park. You want to go square dancing? Yes, I square dance on Monday nights at 7 o'clock. And it's netted $9 million worth of business the past 4 years. Actually, last week we closed a $3 million deal with a guy, and the same guy, $2.5 million deal. So I did anything everybody asked me to do. So everybody says, how do you go to a city and how do I get started? Well, you just start, like I didn't know a soul. So I've been sober a little over 40 years. And one of the things I learned when I went into AA was I had to change my whole world and change my whole life. And I had to say hello to everybody. So I thought, well, let me just try to see if I can transfer that vehicle into here. And it worked out well. Anyhow, so I've gone to Bold. I just finished my 13th Bold or 14th Bold. I forget what it is in 5 years. Love what I do. I wish I had discovered this 30 years ago, but I was stubborn and had a good life and just didn't change my life. So anyhow, so I'm here. I have 7 people on the team. Jake and Divya and I are all partners, and we partnered together. I got so busy that I needed help, and they had just come out of Ignite, and I have taught Ignite. And I thought, well, let's do a good melding of this. We were told that being 3 partners would not work. The one thing that we all agreed to is we would never argue about money, ever, 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 ever. So we don't, ever. Everything we split, everything. Jake has a different portion than Divya and I do, but he's built his own sphere up as well. And Silvio's our director of operations. We have and we could not live without him. He changed our life, really, literally changed our life. And you talk about leverage. And we're going to talk a little about that, about the control here. And I didn't understand leverage. I really didn't, because at the bank, it was me and all the people that were behind me. Even though they were with me, they were still behind me doing all the work, right? So I learned leverage at Keller Williams. I learned about our culture. That's the reason I joined Keller Williams, was because of our culture. We always do the right thing. You know, when I walked into, I graduated from Ignite, my first Ignite, and everybody was talking about family reunion, and I didn't know what family reunion was. So I finally asked somebody. I was the old guy and was afraid to ask what was going on. And they said, well, it's a convention we're having in New Orleans and it starts tomorrow. I'm like, tomorrow? So I got online. There were no plane tickets to go anywhere. I had to go to Seattle, to Las Vegas, to go to New Orleans. That was going to take me 16 hours. So I got in the car, went home, packed my bag, got in the car, drove. I didn't know where I was going to stay, didn't know what I was going to do. But Kathy Stange is in our office and she's absolutely delightful and she really helped. So that's the story. I walked in and it said God, family, and business. I was home. You know, I knew I was in the right place. So I've been very fortunate. We have worked our butts off. I've been on the pivot calls from the very beginning, just like you, Authorine. We've all been involved. I might not also be there daily and with my face because I'm busy in the office. I come to the office early working, but I'm always listening and making notes. And you know, that I meet these wonderful people. I've got my Ronnie, I've got my Authorine, and you're right, Authorine. I really do cherish our relationship. It has been one that has helped me grow both spiritually and emotionally. So please know that as well.
Thank you.
And here's Nisi. There's my other girl. There she is. There's Nisi. Hey. So what would you like to talk about?
Of course, I'd like to talk about service because you do it so very well. And when we talked and we were flushing this class out, and I said, Jack, I want to go old school, right? Because Mark and Gary, they're like, look, just teach the red book and teach shift and teach one thing. And that's it. Because it doesn't change. It doesn't change. So I said this year I was going to focus on teaching the red book and shift and the one thing in my market center. So I said, Jack, which one of the 24 topics would you like to talk about? And you said, well, let's talk about the fifth myth understanding. And that is, my clients will only work with me because only I can deliver quality service, which is on page 59. And then which rolls right into page 93, number 9, think service. So if you would focus on that today, Jack, we are ready to learn from you. And we're ready to just, what does Celia said, step it up. We just want to be like Jack, right? And we just want to treat people the way they should be treated because we do want to have that big. Well, let me ask a question. I'm a coach and you guys can raise your hands. Wouldn't everybody want to have a business that's referral based?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? My hand is up. I would love to have a business that's 100% referral based and past clients. So Jack is excellent at that, at creating relationships. And so we would love the opportunity to learn from you today. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Authorine. Thank you for that great introduction. And service to me is the name of the game. And let's just go with the fifth myth to start there, because service to me is what has helped us build our business to what it is and helped me start out to build my business. The first thing, one of the second lines on page 59 in this topic is to become a millionaire real estate agent, you have to hire additional help. That was very hard for me to understand because I thought that I did it best and I wanted you to do what I wanted you to do what I did to be successful. But what I learned was when you have models, tools, and systems and you lay everything out, people do follow you. And I know that the level of service that we deliver is extraordinary because when I talk about some of the things that we do, and I talk about agents that have been in the business for years, you really do that. So let me just start out about service, how we just do with a listing appointment. If I can start there, Authoring, and probably, because those are the things that we're all after. We're after our listings. That gives us leverage. Listings gives us leverage. So on every listing appointment, we show up with 18 roses from Sam's Club. It's not fancy. I go and pick up roses from Sam's Club. I bring them home. My husband wraps them up in tissue paper and ribbon and raffia and all that stuff. We also have a local chocolatier that we get chocolates from. So we always show up with that. Whether we get the listing or not, we still show up with it. Our thought is, our intention is we are going to get the listing. And we're probably about, what would you say, Silvio? Probably about 95% successful in going on them. And most of our listings are referrals. Ziba on our team, who's brilliant, and she is queen of FSBOs. She does it totally different. She does apply our systems, but she goes after those FSBOs like no tomorrow. And Divya and I have a strong sphere that we've built. Jake has as well. And Silvio is bringing clients in now, and Julia has her clients coming in now. So, if you base yourself on service, I think that it really works. So my first myth was that nobody was going to do it like me. Eventually, it says in the book, eventually to reach your highest sales potential, you'll have to learn to delegate responsibilities and authority to others. So a little secret is that Silvio is our director of operations, and Philip and I have been together for over 40 years. And Silvio is the only man in the world that has ever had access to my checking account and my savings account to do my banking. So that's where the level of trust is there. And it's not small amounts. He knows how to handle it. He knows what to do. All I have to do is text Silvio, send money here, send money there, and he takes care of it. And to me, that was something that I had to do because so much of our job is involved with banking, right? We have to send money here. We have to pay for this. We have to pay for that. And that was the first leash that I turned over. And Divya and I and Jake get along extraordinarily. We've never had an argument. We never argue. We sometimes get a little upset with each other, but there's never a tiff about anything, in all honesty, because we've developed that level of trust. Divya's level of service is, I'll just give you an example. So my first time I went to her house, she and I live in the same development now. First time I went to her house, we were writing a contract, and in 1 hour, she made 7 different meals for the people in her family. Now, I don't know any other person in the world who could do that, but it was absolutely unbelievable. So that's her level of service, and she delivers that to everybody. We okay here? Everybody okay? Okay, good. So service to us is the most important thing, period. It starts with service, and it starts with honesty, and it starts with integrity and truth. So I have to start there. And I have made some mistakes there, not with our level of integrity or our truth, but not doing what I said I was going to do. And now we do what we say we're going to do because we have a system that we follow. One of the other lines in here that we talk about is most successful real estate agents hold themselves to unwritten personal standards in areas without always able to accurately articulate them quickly. And anybody that knows me well knows that everybody on the team thinks for me. I know that sounds really weird to say, but they know how I think, they know how I want things done and how we want things done because we operate that way. Our team operates a little bit different on service, that everybody in our team has a vote. So if we're going to decide on something major that we're going to do, everybody has a vote. And I have been vetoed several times. Does it hurt me? It's like, okay, I have to trust that the universe is giving me the right decision to make here. So we just go with that, right? The right approach to delegating tasks is to determine clearly what experience your clients and you expect your services to deliver, and then articulate that to your staff so they can deliver the experience. And if it can be defined and have standards attached, it can also be delegated. So that was a very difficult line for me. Delegating was very difficult. I'm getting better at it. I think I do a pretty good job. I'm 90% there. But leverage really has changed my life, and it allows us to deliver service on a whole different level. I'm in the luxury group, and we now have a book that we're reading about the Ritz Carlton gold standard, and it's written. They have it written right here in the book. What do you think of Nordstrom's, Ritz Carlton, Tavern on the Green? These companies stake their reputation on their standards, and they teach their employees how to duplicate them. So we mirror and match everybody. We mirror and match ourselves on what we do. But to me, the standards are the most important thing. There's another line in here. Gary talks about Disney. The Disney employees have to attend Disney University, an intense crash course in their systems, their service systems. The front line is the bottom line. My granddaughter's at Disney Institute right now, and she actually came over for the weekend, and she was talking about some of this last night at dinner when we went to dinner with friends, that no matter what anybody says to them, they only can respond with kindness, which to me was very eye-opening. And certainly I've done some things in my life that I'm not proud of, that I didn't respond with kindness. However, that really resonated with me, really, really, really strong. And that's one of the things that we talk about all the time on PIP. You know, what is it? What's this? There's 3 words. Is it kind? Is it necessary? And what's the other
Is
one?
it true?
Is it true? Right. There you go. And I've been guilty of that. So I have to say that right up front. Yeah, I made mistakes. I accept my mistakes. I move on with my life. But I think that to me is a very, very strong mantra. But I want this to be interactive. I don't want this just to be me talking. So that's part of it. That's part of it. Nobody can do it the way I do it. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that? I'd like to discuss that a little bit, because Autherine, is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. I want it to be interactive too. And so how did you get to the point? You said you got really busy and realized you couldn't do it all. So I've got people that I'm coaching, and they are building a team, and yet they're doing everything. My clients will only go out with me to a showing, right? And so they're holding on, and they won't let go. And because of that, the team suffers. So how did you get to the point where you said, you know what, in order for this team to grow, I have to let go?
That's a great question, Autherine. And I had to let go because I knew that in order to grow, so let me just backstack that if I can for a second. My very first bold that I went to, I didn't know what an MRE agent was. I mean, coming from Manhattan, I knew how to earn more than $100,000 a year, because you need at least that to live, right? I mean,
Yeah.
to make $1 million was not new to me. So I was used to that. That wasn't a novel idea. But I never knew I would do it in the real estate business. I truly didn't. But I remember going to Bold, you know, when you write that letter, has everybody been through Bold? Who's been through Bold? Let's get these hands. Okay, a lot of you have been through Bold. So at the last day, we write our letter to ourselves of what we want to accomplish. And the last letter that I got a year ago, everything had been accomplished, which to me was a little overwhelming.
Wow.
And that was not the first letter that I wrote. That was just the last letter that I wrote. So I wrote down that I wanted to have a team. I made it very simple, that I had to follow the tools and systems. I found 2 or 3 people that were great mentors. And for me, a mentor can't necessarily be a business mentor. There's going to be some level of a spiritual guidance as well, if that makes sense to anybody. I need somebody that has and we all have different faiths, right? But had a deep belief in their God or their higher power, whatever it was. To me, that was very important. And then, it just grew like that. And because Jake is an old man trapped in a 26-year-old body. That's all I can tell you. He is. He's just old. And Divya comes from a long line of service, and she has a servant heart. And I think those of us that employ that and allow that to expand and open up and allow yourself to be that, I think that you really don't have any other choices, right? Did I answer your question, Autherine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So if I hear you correctly, what caused you to open up was because you were coming from service and from abundance.
Well, you're right. I live in abundance. I've always lived in abundance. God has been very good to me, and more than good to me. And I say this all, been more than good to me than I could have shared my blessings with 100 people, and I still have 100 things left over. So I've been very, very fortunate. But the one thing I have to say is that I started working when I was 12. I know how to work. I followed the models, tools, and systems. I did what I was told. I cold called. I door knocked. I did open houses. I don't know. There's just so much that we do that's just natural to us. And that's one of the lines that's in the book. They become unconscious. It's just because we do it. But I think those of us that are on here, especially the people that I know, I mean, I'm in a lot of network groups, and LaCala can vouch for this, and Z can vouch for this, and Laney Lane can vouch for this. anytime I see in my referral groups, somebody that I know, I send them that referral group right away, send them the name of the person to call. So one of those things that to me, and Nisi has done that as well. One of the things that I do is just send that out right away because it's another way that I can give back to all of you who give so much to me. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, so, okay, Jack, so your listing appointment, you're showing up with, and so we're just gonna assume because you have Silvio and Silvio is the systems guy and you are not really, right? So Silvio runs the back office, if you guys don't know what his structure looks like. So I'm assuming that Silvio has this play already written. And so every time you go to a listing appointment, you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again because there's a system in place. So you go to a listing appointment, you got roses, you got chocolate, okay? All right, he hasn't, okay. So let's go back to that, Jack. Let's go back to your operations guide because I love that.
This is all Silvio. This is not me.
Okay.
I want to be clear about that. I mean, this stuff I did by rote. You know, and what we do with our weekly lead gen. Here's our team, our pre-listing guide. So when we do a listing, once we get the listing signed, if we're going to go back, if we get the listing signed right then and there, we're fine. But if the listing is signed electronically, we go back with a bottle of wine and we thank them for the listing. If we go for an inspection, we go with a bottle of wine. If they have kids, Divya will pick up toys to bring toys to the kids. What else do we do? Gosh, there's so much that's by rote, I can't even say all of it.
It's just second nature now.
Yeah, it becomes second nature of what we do. And we have joint text every morning. And we also have a power up every single morning between the 6 of us to know what we're doing for the day, what contracts have been written. I can't even keep track of the names anymore. I'm not really proud of that, but I just don't know who people are anymore because we're so busy. And I have to say the referral business for us has been extraordinary. This morning we had 3 referrals. And now we have agents, we have other agents referring us referrals because we talk about this on here, right? We talk about the level of service that we deliver and what we do for our people. And I have such deep passion and belief and gratitude for all that I've learned from everybody on these calls. I really mean that, Irene. I mean, you and I have had this discussion before. We just learned so much. And that's why I go on early birds at 6:30. I shower and change and I'm out of the house by 7:30. 7:30, I'm on James's call till 8:20. 8:20, you go right to script practice. 9:15, we have our power up and I go right into lead gen from 10 o'clock until normally every day at 12.
Okay. All right. And Ronnie go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah, sorry, Ronnie.
No worries. Thanks for the opportunity. So I'm going to come quite clean here. It's May 23rd, and to date, I've gotten 22 referrals. Now, those 22 referrals are not going to be cashed in all the way. The point I'm trying to make is it's 22 at-bats opportunities that I have that 2 years ago I would have never had. I mean, I can't tell you how many times Jac Smith sends me, hey, and I see Orlando, looking for Orlando, looking for Orlando, looking for Orlando. And that's with the fact that when we started this call 2 years ago, I was the only one from Orlando on the call.
Mhm.
Now there's numerous great people from Orlando that are on the call, and I'm still getting these referral things. I bring it back to this because I've not heard it once, I've not heard it twice, I've heard it too many times that I can count. In bold, we learn it's called RAS, Reticular Activating System. And we all know when we go to buy a new car, we not only see that model car, and we also see that color of the car that we're looking for. So I've had many referrals call me up and say, so-and-so said, you don't know me, but so-and-so in my office says you must use Ronnie DiCarlo in Orlando. So their reticulated active system is out there, and that's That's the point I'm trying to make, the branding that goes on. That's what Jack has achieved. Because I don't think there's anybody on the call who doesn't know, when you think of St. Pete luxury, you think of Jack Smith.
We also do the Tampa Bay area, so we're not just luxury, Ronnie. I want to get that clear. I mean,
Absolutely.
we just wrote a contract for $220,000. Now, I know in some markets, that's a lot of money. It's not a lot of money in our market, just not. But we service everybody, and everybody gets treated the same, whether they're a $200,000 buyer or they're a $3 million buyer. I'll give you a little example. When we had a closing a couple of weeks ago in a $3 million house, Jake called me and said, Jack, the wine that they want is 200. How much was the wine?
It's like 250 bucks.
$250. Now, mind you, $250 is a lot of money to me for wine. I don't know about you guys, but that's a lot of money to me for wine. So I said, Jake, just tell me what's our commission. So he told me what our commission was. I said, Jake, that's 0.0005% of what we're earning. We're okay. It'll be fine. But we're all, see, that's the constant thing, that we're all conscious of our money all the time. Conscious. James talked about that again this morning, right? Know your numbers. Know what you're spending. Get rid of things you don't need to buy. Yeah, has nothing to do with what we're doing here, Authoring. Go ahead.
Okay, Marcia, go ahead, and then I'll ask another question, Jack.
Okay, I was listening to about the bottle of wine. So do you call your clients ahead of time when you do these steps and find out what they like the wine or what type of chocolate or whatever?
Great question.
That is a great question. Great question. The chocolates we have custom made at a shop here in St. Pete Beach, and we have another one here in St. Pete. It used to be, now this is where I learned from everybody on the call. It used to be we would buy this chocolate house, it was about this big, and they put little truffles inside of it, and whatever they want to put in it used to cost us 25 bucks. They're now up to 45 bucks. So by being on these calls, I now sourced out another place that I can go, and for 19 bucks, we get custom made chocolates. And they're packaged gorgeous. And to me, where are we?
I hear it too.
Okay, it's all good. It's all good. So I think that those are important things. So to answer your question, Marcia, when we walk around the house on the listing, somebody okay?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know who that is. So do you ask them questions? Because you were talking about that bottle of wine being 200. Do you ask them what they like so you'll know what to bring?
We casually ask a lot of questions. You know, another thing that I learned here is we ask, it's not innate to me to ask, to me that's being nosy. But I have learned here that part of my job is to ask questions. So we'll notice what the decor is. We'll notice what food samples are in their pantry. I know it sounds ridiculous. If they have a wine room or a wine refrigerator, we just say, oh, what kind of wines are in here? Like, I don't know what, they're all vinegar to me. It's all vinegar. I don't know one from the other, right? And we'll write those things down, make little notes. And I say that when we're talking to people, it's not that I'm not listening to you. If I'm on my phone and typing, it's because I'm making a note about what you just said. Or if I'm right, and Divya will be writing it down because we want to compare our notes. So we constantly interact with them and notice things like that. If we see that somebody likes a particular, I'm trying to think, what else do we do, Jake? I mean, Sylvia, what else do we do? All this is innate. So when we go on the listing appointment or when we visit the people, we know what they want. We pretty much know what they want. And they're surprised because nobody does this. For Mother's Day, I sent out chocolate covered strawberries to probably 2 dozen of our favorite, it cost me 75 bucks a pop, to 2 dozen of our favorite clients, just saying Happy Mother's Day. And they were shocked. So I like to do things that have a shock value and that they don't expect. And I think that that's very important, that you have that level of shock value. Because when they don't expect it, I mean, who else? I mean, we were on a listing appointment the other day. We finished the listing, the photo shoot. And I said to them, they're moving to Atlanta. And I was referred by another agent here to them to sell their house here. And I said, well, do you have boxes yet? They said no. So I left the house. I drove right to Home Depot and I picked up 25 boxes, took them back to the house, put them up against the garage door because I didn't want to have another conversation. I was done with conversations. It sounds terrible to say, but it was done. And then took a picture of that and sent it to them and said, oh, by the way, you now have boxes. So, you know, these are just things that we do. And most of them are innate for us. because we have as Authorine would say, we have a servant heart. What else?
We watch dogs in the office. We bring dogs.
Oh, we've even watched dogs here in the office.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Right. While closings are happening or home inspections are happening because they don't want the dog home while the home inspection is happening. So I don't know.
Got mine at the office too.
There you go. See, there you go. There you go. There you go.
So Jack,
Yes.
I have a question for you. So you get through the closing, and we were talking the other day about one of your clients. You made sure the fridge was stocked.
Oh, yeah.
So they had the essentials, right? So after you get through the closing, what kind of drip campaign or touch system do you have to make sure you are the realtor for life for them?
Well, that's a great question, Authorine. And I think one of the things that we do is that, and what Authorine is referring to, we had a family that was coming across country, and that was two separate things. One, we had family had coming across country. We knew that they were getting in early in the morning, so we went to the grocery store. We bought lunch meat and bread and mayonnaise and soda and chips and so on and so forth. So when they got to the house, they had sandwiches to make for the kids, right? So that was just my thought. We did. It's just things that we do. I don't know, whatever it is. Another guy was coming in from Atlantis. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's you, Jack.
Sorry.
Jack in the waiting room.
Yeah, there you go. I
He's
picked
getting
up
a referral.
lasagna and Italian bread and a bottle of wine, and we put it in the refrigerator. So when he got here and got in late at night on his flight, the lasagna and the bottle of wine and the bread was there. People get a little taken back about that stuff, but you just really want to separate yourself from other agents. That's really what we try to do. And we built our business on trying to be like that. That makes sense.
Okay, so who manages your touch system afterwards? After the transaction is over, is that Silvio?
Silvio manages everything. However, when we do something like that, when we do something special, we also send it to Silvio so he knows what we've done. Like if somebody has a particular interest in the murals that we have here in town, and there's a conference on, there's a show on the murals or a bike ride. We have murals that we ride to town. Would you tell Jake to stop communicating with Jordan with me? Thank you, appreciate it. We have a new agent that is, a new client that is obsessive with her phone. So I have to get her off me because she won't stop. And Sylvia does track all that, but a lot of it is just automatic for us, Authorine. It's like when you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you comb your hair, you wash your face, you have your breakfast, you get a shower, you put your clothes on, you go to the office. So all these things just become rote for us. And I heard this morning about the lottery tickets, right? Didn't we hear that on the call this morning about lottery tickets? So now I have about, right? Thank you, Lane, you were there too. So now I have 25 cards I've got to send out for the lottery tickets. With the lottery tickets, thank you cards that we had from over the weekend. Divvy had a fashion show this past Sunday, yesterday. And we had almost 100 people. And our goal was to raise $10,000, and we exceeded our goal. I don't want to tell you how far. Way over exceeded our goal. And that was to feed the children. Zeba was there, Julia was there, my granddaughter was there. Jake and Silvio and Tucker were in the fashion show. So that was another way to give back to the community. We just try to give back all the time. Just like we get from here, and I really mean that. And those that know me know that I mean that. I get so much back here. I could never give back ever in my whole life what I get from you guys, ever.
So I'm hearing events as a touch system. I'm hearing your philanthropy as a touch system, right? And I'm hearing personal. So it sounds to me like you also do have an A+ list.
We treat everybody as A+.
Okay.
Authorine. Everybody is A+. We do a newsletter monthly. It's called the St. Petian. And then we have another letter that goes out to all our referral agents as well. So, thank you for bringing all this up, Authorine, because I don't know what we do. We just do what we do.
Yes, I know, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because I know it's very systemized, because I've spoken to Silvio at length about it, and I'm glad he's in the office where he can help you. So how do you reward the referral person?
That's another great question. So we have a downline of referrals. So our deepest downline of referrals is 9 levels deep. That means somebody referred, somebody referred, somebody referred, somebody referred, somebody referred, right? Everybody gets a card from me with a Starbucks card. It's a nominal card. It's just to thank them for that. Now, if Authorine is referred to Daniel to me, Daniel, needless to say, is going to get the referral check, correct?
Mm.
Well, then we send another gift card to Authorine to thank her for passing us off to Daniel. Does that make sense? So now Daniel's passed this off to Teresa and Susan, right? So Susan will get a Starbucks card and Teresa will get a gift card. Daniel will get a gift card and so will Authorine. Does that make sense?
It does. Say that again.
Okay. I know it's.
And are we talking about agent referrals or are we talking about client referrals?
Both.
Okay, so both. Okay.
Absolutely both. So I'll give you one example. The one that's the 9 levels deep, they
Yeah.
love Argentinian wine. Now, I don't know what Argentinian wine tastes different than French wine from German wine. I don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. So if I go to Sam's Club, I'll pick up a bottle of the Argentinian wine and just leave it at their front door. And we have stickers that where's our stickers? So we have stickers we put on it. We brand everything. So here's a roll of stickers. You can see this. I don't know where Sylvia orders them from, but there's a roll of stickers and it has on here Jac Smith Group, Divya's phone number, my phone number, and we put that on every single gift that we give because it's constant branding, constant. And these things are what, $1 a piece, $1.25 piece? They're about $1.25 piece. But they're high quality and you want to deliver high quality. I don't want something that, our lock boxes also have our label on them. Our lock boxes are labeled. Do you guys have super lock boxes?
Yes.
Okay, so on the top front of the super lock box, we have our label, Jac Smith Group.
Mhm.
We're constantly branding. I learned all that here too.
Okay, all right.
Is it just a sticker on your lockbox?
Yes, correct. Yes. And it wraps right around the front.
All right, so guys, jump in if you have any questions about how Jack services his clients and how he keeps in touch 9 levels deep.
Jack, this is Glenda. If you wouldn't mind just explaining again your referral system and how you distribute the Starbucks card versus the referral check, as you called it, that would be great. I'm not sure that I quite grasped it. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, and so Jack, okay. So Jack rewards the referral person, right? It doesn't matter if that referral actually, so let's say I'm an agent in Marietta, Georgia, which is where I am. And I send Jack a referral. So Jack immediately sends me a card. Doesn't matter if he closes the deal next week or he closes it next year. So you're rewarding the behavior, right? And then Jack, once it closes, I get a check because I'm the referral agent. And then what?
Well, if you were referred to me by Ronnie will get a gift card. So if somebody says they want the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area, and we serve an hour, we go an hour north, an hour south. If we went an hour west, we'd be in the Gulf. So that's not happening. We only go 15 minutes west, and we go an hour east. Does that make sense? So we go from Sarasota, just north of Sarasota, all the way up to Tarpon Springs. So it's an hour. These are all an hour apart. Now in Orlando, that would be 17 blocks apart from Ronnie because the traffic is so god awful.
So Glenda, did you get an adequate explanation?
Where is she?
Yes, thank you, Authorine.
Okay.
That was a little hesitant. Glenda, did you really get it what you wanted?
Well, when you said 9 levels deep, I somehow imagined that you were sending cards not only like down the tree of referrals that you
Absolutely.
have.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I sent you the first referral and then somebody that I referred to you sent you a referral,
Yes.
then both the person that I referred to you and myself would get a gift card when there's a new referral. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I understood. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. Sure.
Good. questions, people, because I have a lot, but I don't want to just take over.
Well, Arthurine, before we do that, can we just cover a little bit on page 93?
Yes, please.
It's not a lot of lines, but I'm going to read it to you guys because I think this is very important. And this is how we've applied it to our business. On page 93, it starts off with number 9, think service. Virtually every top producing agent we have ever worked with has a deep and almost inherent sense of service. They have a servant's heart and place their buyers and sellers' real estate experience above all else. They are always thinking service. In their quest for huge sales success, many top agents may not always show their competitors this service side. But trust me, it's there. It is the heart and soul of their business. As we have studied and probed this, we have discovered that their service approach exists at 3 levels. First, they know the underlying purpose of the real estate profession. Now, I'm here to say that I've had 3 wonderful careers. I was a telephone man for 20 years with AT&T. I went into mortgage banking for 25 years. I retired from banking and I bought a restaurant. And this is my 4th career, but I have never been more passionate about it ever, 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 ever. First, they understand the underlying purpose in the real profession. They, in essence, know exactly why they should be hired. Second, they have a clear sense of how they deliver with that purpose. Top agents can easily explain what services they will provide anyone who hires them. We've come to call these services the agent's value proposition. And third, we have a continual drive to always put their clients' needs above all else. We call this a fiduciary comment. Let's take a closer look at these 3 aspects of service. And then there's purpose, value proposition, and fiduciary. That any of that makes sense to anybody? Tell me, let's get some people feedback on what they do, so we know what else that we've talked about, that maybe you've done something different.
Ronnie?
So Jack, you're very passionate, just like I am. And my value proposition, because you said it several times, is basically I use the basic one that we know. My job is to get your home sold in the shortest amount of time for the most amount of money for the fewest hassles. That's the easy textbook way. My question to you, Jack, is what's your value proposition?
That's a great question, Ronnie. We have a format, we have something that we put in every listing called our commitment. Just hand me that. Somebody just hand me the book right there. And I'll read it to you. And I talked about this on your, when we did the 7th level open house that I did with you a couple of weeks ago, we talked a little about this. This is our commitment. Our commitment is that we provide 7-star white glove service to you and your family and friends. This is one of the biggest financial decisions our customers will make. Our goal is to provide you with a seamless transaction. We will explain in every detail at every step of the process, whether you're buying, selling, or investing in real estate. We pride ourselves on being collaborative and a creative team that will be with you every step of the way. We are grateful for your level of trust and respect and loyalty we have established with our customers and colleagues. We would be honored, and I use that word a lot. We would be honored to have your commitment to helping our team grow. So that's my passive way of asking for a referral. And we do talk about that a little bit deeper when we're with them, but I don't like it to be in your face referral. That word just offends me. Don't ask me why. We all have our things. It just is, Arthurine, we just sold your house. Do you have any referrals for us that we can help buy? That's just awful in my mind. Some people can do it. I can't do it. And this is one thing, Laney Lane will hear this loud and clear. And this is the Jac Smith Group strives to be your realtors for life. That makes sense, Laney Lane?
Certainly does. Because of you, that is my tagline with the flamingo is the I for life, because of you and you're giving back to me. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. But I mean, it just, to me, we're developing, why not? Listen, I'm 69, right? So I only have maybe 30 years left. My mom died when she was 95. My dad died when he was 90. So my team knows I've got 5 solid years with them, probably 10. But that's a short life. If you've got somebody like Laney on here that's in her early 30s and then wants to go for another 50 years.
I'm 55.
Oh, well, whatever. And we've got other young people on here as well. You've got a whole life ahead of you, right? So you really want to be, in my opinion, you want to be service for life. That's the most, and I learned that here. It's another thing that I learned here.
LaKayla.
Yeah, LaKayla.
Hi, Jack. Yeah, thanks for saying that. I've definitely have developed a new sense of urgency. I stopped hearing you have your whole life ahead of you. As time goes on, you stop hearing that. Actually, out of all the things I hear from you, this was something new today. So you talked about being the telephone man, banking, had a restaurant, and now. What do you think makes the difference for you now that you're most passionate now?
Well, that's a great question, Colin. Give me a second to absorb that. I really, this is a true story. I really think it's because I joined Keller Williams. I mean, that they instilled in me, you know, when you walk in and you see God, family, and business in 6, 8-foot letters across the screen that's 100-foot wide, that's sort of like Blair, 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 right? And not everybody identifies, gives me goosebumps saying that. Not everybody identifies it, but so many of us are in that mode and in that place. And my passion is because I moved here, I didn't know a soul. You know, in 5 years, we built $1 million business. I mean, I have so much to be grateful for that I don't know what else to say. Does that answer your question, Nicole?
It does. It just sounds like maybe all the dots were connected for you and you found purpose with it. Because I'm sure you were a person of service in the other arenas. That's why I was just curious what you found different.
Well, I mean, the difference is this is my passion. I mean, telephone company, I had to earn a living because I had a wife and a child, right? And my second income, second career was because I put myself through school. And a buddy of mine went into mortgage banking, and he was a nice guy, but he wasn't the smartest guy in the world. And he was doing successful. We had loaned him some money. He paid the money back. And I said, how'd you do this? He said, I went into mortgage banking, right? And then when I retired, what are you going to do when you retire? My local Italian restaurant guy said, you know, why don't you buy my restaurant? I'm retiring. I'm like, I'm a banker. What do I know about this? And he said, just do it. Who cares? Do it. I'll give you 6 months. You know, if you don't like it after 6 months, I'll take it back. Well, I loved it. You know, we were in a little beach town down in Rumson. Daniel, you know what that is. And we had a little pizzeria restaurant in Highlands. That's where the bed and breakfast was. So that's right on Sandy Hook. So I guess that was always the service. And thank you for bringing that, LaCala. I never really thought about it. You know, as a phone man, when you rang 611, those of us are old enough to know what 611 was. The telephone man showed up and fixed your phone, right? That's what you did, right? So I guess it's a service on a whole nother level. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Susan, that's a hand that I don't see often. And then Marsha.
Thank you. Jack, I want to say thank you. And so what I've learned is your business is all about thank yous and rewarding good deeds and helping people through every step of the transaction. Like you mentioned, after the inspection, you send a little something. After the appraisal is finished, you send a little something. So basically, it triggers you to act when something is done in the process or somebody has done something or said something. It's all about thanking. And that's the bottom line, right?
It truly is, but it also, you want to separate yourself from the rest. And if I can elaborate that on it, when I was in banking and I was very comfortable, I'll leave it at that. And I would go to Neiman Marcus twice a year, and they would pick out shoes for me and pick out clothes, right? So I would go, I want that, I want that, I don't want that, I don't want that, get rid of it, I want that, I want that, I want that. That was a level of service. I don't like to shop, I hate to shop, I don't want to do it. But they knew what I wanted. They knew where my addict for clothes and shoes was. They knew exactly who I was. For me, our job is to translate that into our customers and say, what is it we're going to do to make them beyond happy to refer to us? And I never have to use the referral word. And I call up on the phone, hey, it's Jack. I mean, one lady during COVID couldn't get Fruit Loops. So I called Publix and I had 6 boxes of Fruit Loops delivered because she shopped at, what was the name of the store? What's that? Aldi?
Albertsons.
Yeah.
Aldi.
Winn-Dixie. She couldn't get Fruit Loops. So I said, you just do these things naturally. It really is, it might cost you a few bucks, but at the end of the day, I mean, our commission checks,
Yeah.
very comfortable. I could buy a brand new Mercedes with the checks on my desk this morning. So we really, I mean, really, that's true. I walked in, I'm like, this is a lot of money. Well, we worked hard for it, but still in all, how do you not give back? And the thing that I learned from my coach this morning, by the way, this is what he said to me. This is where I think where we really, really excel. Value and servicing after the transaction. Remember, we are not transactional agents. We're relationship agents. Stay in touch with them. Stay in touch with them. And I stay in touch with my referral partners as well. That makes sense?
Mhm.
Marcia, what do you want to say?
Oh, okay. Once you get the referral, like it's somebody you don't know, somebody refers you, what do you do with that referral to start the service going?
Well, the referrals all come to me, and
Mhm.
some people don't want the referral to go out. So if they don't want the referral to go out, I mean, if you called me and said you had whether it's a $200,000 buyer or a $5 million buyer, if you want me to work it, I work it. But what I've learned from Tony Baroni, of those who were in the class, remember the class that we had at PIP class?
Yeah.
Tony Baroni said, I have something that will do it even better. I'm great, but I have something that will do it even better. And that sort of resonates a little bit ugly in the beginning, but Julia wins people over, Divya wins people over, Zeba wins people over. I mean, you will not believe Zeba. She does not stop. She does not take no for an answer, and always shows up with a present. Always, always, always. Always
Okay.
comes on gratitude.
Okay. So you show up with a present right when you meet them the first time. You like
Absolutely, yes.
welcome. Okay.
So that's, if you understand it, just grasp that for a second.
Yeah.
If you have a house guest or a guest that comes to dinner, now I grew up, you got to take something, whether it's
Yeah, I did.
M&Ms,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Stop.
Jack goes straight to the waiting room,
Well, no, what happens is it goes on the screen as well, and I don't want to deal with it. I just, people know, this is another thing we tell people. I'll call you and pick up the phone anytime that I can. But if I don't answer, it's because I'm sleeping, I'm with my family having a bite to eat, I'm out with Philip doing something with him, or I'm with my team and we're doing something. Otherwise, we will all pick up the phone all the time. And I know, I mean, I've called LaColla, she picks up the phone. I've called Laney Lane, picks up the phone. So I can tell you the people that I call Ronnie picks up the phone, of all people. Ronnie.
Yeah.
And that's all part of service. And I understand that you set your boundaries though. It's like my clients know that very rarely do I work on a Sunday because I am with my family, because they deserve my time. And Sundays are my days. Now I would work with you if that's the only day you can fly in and fly out, like I did this weekend. But Sundays I am home and I set my boundaries and my clients understand and respect it. And that's all part of the service.
Right, and that also that we have our partners in our life, our personal life, have to understand that the level of service that we deliver is the level of service of how we're living.
Yeah.
You think about that, right? I mean, how many people have a regular job and they get, $25,000 and they earn $50 or $60 or $70,000 a year. We're getting checks like that. So that demands another level of service. And I don't care whether it's a $6,000 check or it's a $80,000 check. Treat everybody equal. If I can tell you one thing, treat everybody equal. Treat them like they're gold and your best customer and your best referral service ever, because it'll come back in spades, right? Cast your bet on the water, it comes back tenfold.
Yep, we've talked about that.
True, you're absolutely right. Right.
Yeah, and so I was gonna ask you for a few parting words to my new agents. I have 2 that are on here. And so I just treat everybody like gold. That's what Uncle Jack said.
Well,
And
also
we'll
let
come
me,
back to you.
yeah, and also let me say this. I learned this from my coach this morning. He said to me, how can you provide extra value to your people? And I said, well, what are you talking about? I mean, we provide value all the time. He said, who can you go to that can provide value to your people? So now that made my brain go in gear. And I thought, okay, he said, who's your financial advisor? I said, a guy that gave me my first job in mortgages. He now manages our money. He said, why don't you have him come on a call and visit with other people and explain what he does to help them with their finances? A lot of people don't know how to do all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
The other thing that he said was, which was, I thought was very, very weird in the very beginning. He said, and if everybody that has a pencil and paper, if you would do this for a second with me, just listen to me and walk through with this for a second. Draw a circle in the middle of the page. Doesn't have to be big, small, whatever you want to do. And draw a bunch of spokes off of it, like the spokes on your bicycle, right? Who are those people that are important to you that can refer people to you? Right? He said, be the Amazon. He knows I hate to shop. If I can't, and I shop locally all the time, but if I can't shop locally for a present, I mean, I do shop locally for presents, but if I have to do something that's going to go to Autherine or go to Marsha or whatever, I go to Amazon, I pick something out and I send it, right? He said, be the Amazon. Have everybody come to you. People call me all the time for referrals all over Florida because I know everybody all over Florida. Well, really now it's nationwide, so I can't really say that. But, you know, our referral-based business with our customers and with our other agents that refer to us, we treasure, absolutely treasure. And they are our world. And they really are our world. And they know it. And I try to make that clear.
So be the Amazon.
Be Amazon.
Be Amazon.
Have people come to you and have people be referred to you. But on the other hand, deliver value as well. That's what the spoke is. You're delivering value. Deliver that value.
Hey, Jack,
Yes.
quick question. Your gift cards that you do with Starbucks or whichever type of gift card for your
Yeah.
referrals,
Right here.
what's the max? How much are they, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, we send out $5 or $10.
Okay, $5 or $10.
I don't, you know, Jake picks up $10 sometimes, $5. But I'll tell you something that happened to me yesterday, which was a shocker.
That's a card.
That was-
That's a card.
Yeah, there you go, right?
Mhm.
I got an Amazon electronic card from an agent that I had referred some business.
Mhm.
I didn't know there was such a thing. I don't even get the cards anymore, right?
Right.
Now I can just send it out. And I
Mhm.
know Ellie, when she gets the cards, you know, Ellie, it's
Yeah.
all about free. She tracks every single number on here. And at the end of the year, she goes to Starbucks and said, did card number 619199918 get used? No, put it back on my card. Right? Right? So, you know, when I got that little treat yesterday morning, I thought, well, isn't this a nice touch? Not only did she thank me, and I don't do this to be thanked. I do it just because it's what we do, right? It's just a natural. I'm on my phone all the time. In fact, Dallas Snodderly, do you know Dallas, Autherine? He's someplace in Atlanta. I said, because he and I send stuff all the time, back and forth all across the country. And I said, Dallas, how did you learn this? How did you get this to me so fast? He said, I'm on Facebook all the time. Well, that's not my world.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not my world. But I follow up and this is another thing that really helps. And I'll close with this. Your standard referral fee is 25%, correct?
Yeah.
We don't do standard. We do 30% to everybody. Absolute everybody. Set another standard. And I learned that my very first family reunion from the woman that was up on stage. Because everybody, when she said she does 30, they went, oh! I'm like, come on, guys. 5% of $100. That's $5, right?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
What difference does it make? Just give, and it will come back at tenfold.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you so much. Did everybody get value today?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
If
yes,
you
yes, yes.
did, if you
Yes.
did, and I trust that everybody did, will you all please light up my screen with hearts for Jack?
I know how to put a heart on.
Thank you for the honor. Isn't that lovely? Thank you for the honor, Autherine, to be here. It's a real honor to have you in my life. I love having you in my life, and I'm so grateful. Thank you, everybody.
The feeling's mutual. I love you. Thank you guys so very much. And you know where to find me if you need me. I will be on Pivot Shift in the morning tomorrow. Thank you all.
All will
Thank
be.
you, Jack
Thank
and
you.
Autherine.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you,
For
ladies.
Autherine.
Jack.
Thank
And
you.
for some of you, I'll see you on the texting call at 4:30.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Jack and Authorine.
Thanks,
Thank
Jack.
you.
Thanks,
Bye, guys.
Authorine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, these are the keys.
Hey, Jack,
Hey,
it's Laney.
hey,
Can you have Silvio call me?
yeah, sure. I'll give you his number.
Oh, all right. I
It's
got a
easy.
pen.
407.
Yeah,
I have to get his card, just a second.
okay.
I think I have Silvio's number. Hold on.
407 414
Yeah,
7889.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Have a
Appreciate
great,
it.
have a great day.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it.
Love you.
Love
Golly.
you more. Love you more.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you, Jack.
Thank you, Authorine, for the honor. I love being with you anytime, whether it's on Zoom or anything else.
Absolutely. Find me a
Bye.
little place down there near the water, baby.
Oh, come on, girl. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Bye, Arthurine. Thank you for doing this.
Bye. Love you, Lainey.
Love
See
you, sweetie
later.
pie. Bye.
Bye.